the Shenko household.
We're going now. We're on. Go.
Welcome in, guys, to another episode of the Shenk and Spence Show. I'm your co-host, Shenk, and my co-host, Spence, will be joining us momentarily. And here he comes.
What's going on, guys? Welcome in. Shenk and Spence is officially back on the air, and just so blessed to be back with you guys. It's been a little while, and really happy to start up this podcast again with you, man. It's been a little while. It's been a lull kind of in the sports calendar, but
we're back at it.
So great to be back in studio here. Kind of a rainy night outside, but it's nice and cozy in here. And man.
Of course. I mean, when you got the a lot of big news coming out of the NBA recently, and a lot of people changing teams. We haven't talked about a lot of things that happened since our last podcast, but the big story, obviously, that we're all craving to talk about here, and everybody else is in the sports world, is the Kyrie demanding a trade from the Cleveland Cavaliers to go elsewhere. So I'm just going to start off by saying, at first I was like, oh my God, like Kyrie Irving, like, wow, this is huge news. Like, he's making the move to go elsewhere. But if you think about it, Kyrie is a guy who, has been there at Cleveland, in 2011 and, first round draft choice, did so much for the franchise, really did well. And then, he signed that extension in 2014, for those it was 4 or 5 years extension, and then a couple days later he finds out LeBron's coming back, and then it started to become LeBron's team. Mm-hmm. And I also feel like a lot of these players today, I'll say too much, I want you to weigh in here, but I just feel that for Kyrie, for them to make this move now, there's so much uncertainty what everybody's been talking about, and what doesn't understand me is a lot of these players, I wanted to dive into this really quickly because I wanted to get your take on this. Sure. About players today, how Kobe and Shaq, if they stayed together, they would have won multiple championships, not just 3 that they won together. But, a lot of these, like even with Kevin Durant, moving from Westbrook after playing with him for 8 years, it's a shame that these guys have such big egos and they can't play with each other and can't, put their egos aside to be able to win the biggest prize in the NBA, which is the NBA championship. I just feel like these egos getting too much to some of these guys, and they just want to, branch off and do their own thing. And, it's kind of unfortunate, but, I understand where they're coming from. But, I just wanted to say that out before we get started. But your thoughts on the take on the matter?
Well, I look at Kyrie Irving, and, I think Kyrie's entering the prime of his career right now. And he has played with LeBron, and he's been, he's been a pretty good teammate to LeBron James. He's hit big shots. He's gave them some offense. He hasn't pouted too much. So he's been a really good player for Cleveland, and he's already won that championship. When you look at when I compare, Kyrie to Carmelo Anthony, Melo, he's always played by himself. He's never teamed up with anybody. And I kind of feel like Melo is almost at the stage where he should do it in his career. And Kyrie's going into the prime of his career right now. He has the championships. It's we look at Kevin Durant and call him soft for moving, to Golden State, and we call that move really soft. But now that Kyrie wants to get away from Cleveland, I don't really mind it incredibly like that much, because look at LeBron James. He might leave in 2018, and then you're going to be on Cleveland with absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? Like, Cleveland is not a stable organization right now.
Well,
David Griffin is gone. The general manager's gone. Mm-hmm. LeBron is saying he wants to leave. Kevin Love is 1 foot in, 1 foot out. The whole thing is just about falling apart. Well, it's a nightmare situation going on there. And if you're Kyrie Irving, why let LeBron slap you in the face and go to L.A. and leave you with absolutely nothing and be Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
That would be the worst thing.
But the thing is, to add to your point, it's like, why would Kyrie want to opt out and go somewhere else? And if he goes somewhere else, he's traded somewhere else, he's going to lose that opportunity to get that big max contract that, John Wall got this year, James Harden,
Sure.
Mike Conley last year. Yeah. So it's I don't understand the move. Like he can sign
about the money,
the max contract. I apparently not. I mean,
just
looking at it as a monetary perspective.
So the max is probably only one guy. So what about like can Bradley Beal get a max also?
Yeah, sure he could. I mean, if you play at a high level. I mean, God, Otto Porter Jr. got $100 million. Of course, Bradley Beal is going to get the max.
Right, but look at Kyrie Irving. If he goes to Minnesota, they're going to have Jimmy Butler and Karl Towns on that team because Wiggins is then going to have to get traded, right? So then he could still still going to get paid wherever he goes. If he's on the Knicks, he's going to get paid.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So if he's on the Knicks, he's getting paid. I think Minnesota's the best option for him because Jimmy Butler's his best friend. They were drafted in the 2011 class. You trade Wiggins back to Cleveland because Wiggins and Jimmy Butler are way too similar. And I'd love the move.
Yeah, I could see that. But the thing is, going back to Cleveland, it's one of those things where all those pieces that they have together now with Kyrie, Kevin Love, and Kyle Korver, they don't really mesh well with what Kyrie Irving does. He's more of a ball facilitator. He wants the ball to have the ball so much in his hands.
Yes, he's a ball stopper.
And the thing is with, having Kyrie who wants the ball as well because, point guard takes up the court, and then LeBron being that point forward and being that facilitator, you kind of have two conflicting ideologies going at one another. And I'm surprised that he even lasted for so long, for 3 years.
So you think LeBron wants more ball dominance?
Well, because I think, here's the thing. I feel like,
You think Kyrie deters Cleveland? Makes them a little worse?
No, I don't say it makes them worse, but I just feel that, like, when you think of Cleveland, what do you think of first? Do you think of Kyrie or do you think of LeBron?
Absolutely.
Exactly. You think of LeBron James. And Kyrie, he wants to be that guy. He wants to be the leader. He feels that he's like the top point guard in this league. He feels that he could play at a high level. He feels that he could be a leader to the team and not a co-leader like he is right now alongside LeBron James.
Right.
So I just think he needs to be a leader on that team.
I don't mind the move. I don't mind it really at all because he's played the second fiddle well. And now you look at Kyrie Irving. The point is he's going to have to go with a guy on his caliber, though. He's going to have to align with a Jimmy Butler if he ever wants to have a chance at winning a chip.
But here's the thing with all this, like, Kyrie wants to leave and all these guys, they can't stay together. And, I feel like Kyrie is just like all these guys that want to leave, they're superstars together. But we're in the age of the super team.
Yeah.
Why not stay with the superstars you have with them now, and start building up? I understand that Cleveland...
So you would like to see, like, Kyrie stay in Cleveland for, like, the next 12 years, LeBron leaves, and then build his own team right where he is in Cleveland?
Yes, because that's what they did with, for example, if you look at the Phoenix Suns, how they built that team with Steve Nash, with Amari Stoudemire, Sean Marion, Joe Johnson. You had all these guys, they built it, just like Steve Nash.
I know.
And all them. And that's what Kyrie could kind of want it like.
Nash did traded a couple of times. I think he was in Dallas, but you're absolutely right. For the majority of his career, he was in Phoenix. And but when you look at Cleveland, though, I mean, it's cold. The city's not glamorous, And Kyrie Irving, he probably wants to live, in a glamorous location. And the problem is with being on, look at Carmelo, like we mentioned, or James Harden. You're not going to ever win a championship, and that's a really disappointing thing.
Well,
and maybe Kyrie Irving looks at this organization in Cleveland, and maybe he's not sure LeBron is going to leave.
Really? I think it's the absolute opposite. I mean, why would Kyrie...
Here's the thing. If LeBron doesn't leave, then that's Kyrie's worst nightmare.
But why would Kyrie want to trade right now? I mean, there's so much uncertainty.
Kyrie wants to get away from LeBron James. He wants to be the top dog like we talked about.
Well, I agree with all that, but I'm just saying why leave now and leave shit now? Because of the fact that there's so much uncertainty with the franchisers, like, at the GM position, letting Griffin go.
Yeah, they have this.
They didn't even build that much in this offseason to be able to acquire talent. I understand they don't have enough cap space, but maybe move some guys. Because the core four that they have right now is not going to do it against the Warriors.
If you look at the general manager, okay, what's your worst nightmare? Is Kyrie and LeBron leaving. And LeBron might leave. And the problem is with LeBron James is he's Cleveland's, folk hero. So you can't trade, they're never going to trade LeBron because, then Cavs fans will never forgive the general manager. Even though that might be a smart move on the surface.
It doesn't matter because I feel like I'm calling it right now. LeBron's leaving next year anyway. So it doesn't matter.
So isn't that a shame? So if you were the Cleveland GM, Kyrie still has 2 to 3 more years on his contract. 2 years. Perfect time to deal him now. Because then, when he goes to a team, he can offer 2 years of services. Look at Paul George. The Pacers didn't get much for him because Paul George is a 1-year rental where Kyrie's going to be a 2-year rental. That's a big deal. Kyrie's doing Cleveland a solid here. A big-time solid.
Well, all right.
If you're that general manager, you're going to get a haul for Kyrie Irving.
So we're going to jump right into Kyrie.
Hypotheticals.
Trade hypotheticals.
Trade hypotheticals.
Yes. Now, So what is
best part of the conversation?
What is Kyrie?
Let's see if we're
Kyrie's market on the team right now.
Yes.
What type of assets can you get in return? Would you trade Carmelo for Kyrie straight up if you were the Knicks, or would you do something that you can get some multiple superstars in returns? What would a trade that would be best for both?
The Knicks. I mean, Melo in New York is completely stale, and you're going to respond next. You're a New York Knicks fan. I think that you need a point guard. I think a point guard is so important in this NBA to control the basketball. You'll then have Porzingis. You can even give Cleveland that Frank guy too, and you might not even need to have any picks. The Frank guy, that you got at number 8. So you know what? I look at
he's European, by the way. He's not just Frank.
He's Frankie from Brooklyn. He's Frankie. Give him Frankie.
Okay.
Frank Nikotofa. No one's ever going to spell his last name. His name's Frank. I mean, his parents did him a huge disservice with the last name. Frank. It's just Frank. So then he'll go to Cleveland. He's a project. You then have Carmelo Anthony, and Kyrie can play with Porzingis. And who's the small forward on the Knicks now? Who's the third best guy?
I mean, you have Lance Thomas. You have Kuzminskis at the forward position.
Is not there anymore, right?
No, that's like 2 years. 2 years ago.
I'll tell you. Well, Ron is on the team.
Baker, of
course.
That's
the one guy.
Of course, because he's a Baker fan.
You're right. So Kyrie will back up Ron.
That's it.
Yeah, Ron will be the start. Ron will start.
Not over Kyrie.
I'm kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke. No, but the point is, Derek Williams still not. Whatever. Okay, New York Knicks. Okay,
Derek Williams not even there anymore.
Not the best run.
I don't even know.
It's not the Knicks. That's the point.
Right, shut up. You're not Knicks.
Well, Derek Rose is gone. Okay.
Ask me the Knicks question.
Okay. So the Knicks, they could trade Melo and Frank and maybe a pick, and you could get Irving. And you absolutely do the deal. You don't keep Carmelo. You don't keep Carmelo anymore.
Well, I mean, Carmelo, like we said before, is stale, and we could get rid of Carmelo's contract.
If you get a point guard, an exciting point guard, you now have Irving and Porzingis. You're going to be able to attract some guys.
Oh, absolutely!
What an upgrade over Derrick Rose!
Big time. Derrick Rose can leave. I'm so tired of him. Yes. He can go back to Chicago. He can go to Cleveland. He's not going to win in Cleveland anyway. LeBron's leaving anyway. That Cleveland team is going to drop dead in the water in the next 2 years.
It is.
And it's a shame. They had so much talent on their team to only win one championship, and it's very upsetting, especially if you're a Cleveland fan.
Cleveland's never had a championship, so they're forever grateful.
That is true.
One championship.
That is also true.
Dying. That championship last year, they'll always remember it, and getting to the finals all those years. The first year Irving was hurt, Kevin Love, I'd say that they achieved properly. Golden State is one of the greatest teams of all time, so I don't blame Cleveland too much for losing that. But go ahead. I want to hear Kyrie to New York. What are you trading? What are you trading the Cavs?
Well, I mean, I definitely would not give him Kristaps because he's obviously your franchise centerpiece to build around. Obviously, would give Carmelo up.
You would give anybody.
Carmelo, I would give away maybe 2 first rounders,
and
maybe I'll throw in a one of our starters you know what? I throw in Courtney Lee too, or maybe throw in Joakim Noah because
keep your picks.
Honestly,
keep the picks too.
The thing is I rather build through the free agent. I know they say they want to build through the draft, do all these things, do well in the draft, but the thing is like, it's always a hit or a miss in the draft. You don't know if you're going to get a good guy or he's going to get a project or a bust.
Picks is valuable.
Oh, sure, but the thing is,
and look at how disappointing it was 2 years ago or a year ago when you didn't have your pick.
Yeah, I know, but I'd rather build. So much talent in the NBA now, and the free agency is going to be crazy next year.
It's true.
And the Knicks are going to have a lot of cap room, especially giving away guys like Courtney Lee. Melo's going to be off the books. Rose is out of here.
It'll be fantastic.
Absolutely. So I'm excited for the
But I wanted to talk about Kyrie Irving, on the open market. When I look at Kyrie Irving, I think that he's kind of a ball stopper like we talked about. I'm not sure that the guy makes his teammates better. I think he's an isolation point guard. He can hog it a little bit. He is a scorer. I think he's a one-dimensional player right now. I don't think he plays. I think he plays some of the worst defense actually in the NBA.
Really? You think so?
He has the ability to play good defense, but he doesn't really try. He doesn't pay attention on that end of the floor. And actually, if I were the Lakers or the Sixers, those are 2 teams that have the assets to actually trade with the Cavaliers. I think Kyrie Irving, I won't even want him to gel with Ben Simmons because he might kill the chemistry of the team, if that makes sense.
What makes him want to kill the chemistry if you bring Kyrie?
Because he's going to shoot too much. Like, you look at Ben Simmons. If Ben Simmons wants to play point guard or Lonzo Ball...
I let Kyrie shoot because his efficiency on the court, having him on the court, he's such a great basketball IQ.
But the thing is,
you think he's going to deter the development of these other younger guys?
Yeah, exactly. Like Ben Simmons and Embiid, okay? They might get pissed off at Kyrie Irving next year.
Yeah, but Kyrie and Fultz can learn from a guy like Kyrie.
If the Sixers are going to trade with the Cavs, guess you would give them picks. You'd give them Markelle Fultz and JJ Redick.
I'm sure if you asked a lot of Sixers fans they were to trade to get Kyrie, they would all do it in a heartbeat. You'd see Kyrie jerseys all over Philadelphia. I'm really curious
to see if you would trade Fultz, but then you.
I wouldn't trade Fultz. No.
So who are you trading then, man? You have to trade Fultz. You're not trading Simmons or Embiid. You're not trading Simmons or Embiid. You're trading Fultz, okay? Fultz and Redick.
Trade Saric and Redick?
That's not going to do it.
That's not going to do it, no.
Why are you so enamored with Fultz?
Why? Because he's going to be. I think he's going to be a good player in the NBA.
Yeah, he'll be good, but Ben Simmons is the guy. Like Ben and Embiid are the guys. Dario.
I guess, yeah. It's hard because
it's a risk. I mean, it'd be exciting if you had Kyrie, Ben, and Embiid.
But I just love Fultz's work ethic. I've listened to him in interviews, and he makes other guys better around him. He's got
exactly. That's the thing. He's an unselfish player, and if you bring in Kyrie, who's kind of a selfish like Kobe Bryant type, like you could mess up the chemistry. So if I were the Sixers, I'd probably stand pat. I'm curious to see
what the process.
I'm curious. So I'm curious to see what the fans will say. Kyrie for Fultz and JJ Redick, and maybe like a couple Stauskas or like a Covington
or a couple picks. It's
easily gonna get it done.
Oh,
the Sixers could get it done
if they want, but they're not. They're gonna stand pat.
How about the Lakers? Lonzo Ball, LeBron, and Lonzo. I mean, that is the chance. That's the chance to keep LeBron in Cleveland,
I think LeBron needs to go out west because
I'd like to see it. I want to see him get challenged.
Aren't you guys so sick and tired of seeing Cleveland and LeBron go to the finals every year.
Yes.
I think he needs to go out west where the real competition is.
Yes.
And we can finally see, maybe the Celtics get to the finals one year in the East. Maybe we could see the Raptors. Maybe. Or even the Wizards. Oh, that would see John Wall, a great talent in this league, finally get to the promised land in the finals.
I would love to see that. The Bucks.
I would love to see something like that.
See LeBron leave the East because it's just him dominating. It's the worst product for the NBA. Imagine LeBron against Pop. Imagine LeBron against James Harden. Imagine LeBron against Westbrook, against Paul George.
That Western playoffs is going to be must-see TV.
Thank you.
It already is must-see TV.
Thank you. And then LeBron will go up against Golden State. LeBron James, even though he makes the finals, everybody acts like that's some incredible accomplishment. He's beating DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry. He's beating all of these, nunchucks every single year. The Eastern Conference is such a joke. Lance Stevenson got to the Eastern Conference Finals with Paul George in Indiana. That team was incapable of doing anything. The Raptors. The East is so boring with LeBron in it. I completely agree. He just dominates.
He needs to go out west.
He just dominates, and it's horrible for basketball.
Well, I also think it's horrible.
It's so boring. It's like watching Patriots regular season football.
You know what you're gonna see? You're gonna see NBA ratings skyrocket once the Warriors split that whole team up, because that team with that is not going to last for, maybe another 4 or 5 years.
If LeBron goes west, the NBA will skyrocket back.
It would, but the thing is, the Warriors are obviously going to be, the front runners in the West, every single year until that team is always assembled like that.
Yes.
But once you see that team start to disassemble, I think you're going to see, team, fans to be able to watch.
Portland.
They're just gonna watch the NBA more, and you're gonna see much more continuity in the NBA.
The problem with Golden State is the way to beat Golden State is if the refs let them hack guys, really hard fouls. If they played in the '90s, Steph Curry would be get beat up every game.
Oh, he would absolutely.
And that's the way to bring parity back is because then physical guys can take over again. The big guys. Look at the Trailblazers. The NBA, even the Pelicans, they're stars, and then the rest of the league is just so marginal. Look at the Trailblazers. They have McCollum and Lillard, and then the Pelicans have Davis and Cousins. But it's no team, but they don't develop the rest of their team at all in this league anymore.
I know. Yeah, I mean,
it's disappointing, man. The Raptors, I thought they had pieces.
They have pieces, but it's still never going to get over.
The Suns are too far away.
Well, the Suns are in a project mode. Same with the Nuggets. Same with
the Kings.
The Kings. Oh, Kings are way. They're
De'Aaron Fox. I love their draft though.
They have a bright future
Giles.
with him
Hopefully Jackson can be all right.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. This draft class. Speaking of this draft class, is going to. I think is going to be. Maybe in comparison to the 2003 draft class, in comparison to talent-wise, because there's so much talent coming out this year.
Mitchell was great this year.
And Dwayne Wade said that.
How about let's list the guys: Dennis Smith.
Dennis Smith.
De'Aaron Fox.
Fultz.
Yeah, Jason Tatum.
The
second overall pick was
Ball.
Pick. Yeah, of course. How could I ever forget Big Baller? Lonzo Ball Summer League. Well, I know Bryn Forbes. He's not the first year guy. Oh, even Luke Kennard played really well. How about have you heard of the guy Kyle Kuzma who played for the Lakers? He showed out. So Jonah Bolden. The second round even had gems. I mean. The draft class was unbelievably deep. I'm really into this draft class.
Develop.
The Hawks got a good pick. I mean, I'm really into this draft class, so
I'm excited.
It's fantastic. Shenko, before we wrap up this show, we in short, we kind of see where Kyrie is coming from, and I'd like to see him go to New York or Minnesota.
I think those are definitely two destinations.
Yeah,
I think that could help him and his brand.
And also Kyrie going to the Sixers is an interesting question to ponder because he is an unbelievable offensive talent, But the thing is, people are going to be worried about, can he be a pass-first guard at times? Can he take a back seat if necessary? Or is he just going to be a ball-dominant stats guy? And that's what people are worried about with a guy like that, you know?
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about the show that you've been watching, the show that's captivated this summer on Netflix. Go ahead, Shenko, tee it up.
It's obviously a show that I wish we could see more of, and it's a Netflix original, Last Chance U. And it's definitely, anybody that doesn't know what the show is about, Last Chance U is a football show dedicated to the Eastern Mississippi Community College football program, dedicated to, you know, bring a lot of these guys who may have messed up at the Division I level, getting in trouble, hanging out with the wrong people, doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and basically going to this community program to be able to rejuvenate their football program or rejuvenate their football profiles, and really trying to make a name for themselves again. And it's like what the show pronounces, Last Chance U. It's a last chance for these guys to be able to really get their
act
together, if you will. And I think it's a great show. If you guys, you know, I've been watching it recently.
Because not only is it football, but you see the inner workings of the classroom setting. You see how these guys are off the field. It's not only is it funny, but it's also, some parts are tragic, learning about the backstories. The show just does an unbelievable job going into detail. And it's a great thing for the kids because these kids get notoriety. I mean, I'm really impressed how Netflix, I mean, people watch in the Netherlands and Europe, everywhere, you know, Spain. These guys are celebrities now.
I know.
And I mean, the one thing about this season is, like last season, John Franklin III was, like him or hate him, a lot of guys didn't like him because he was a me guy. He was one of the more entertaining characters.
Sure.
Ever on TV.
Oh, absolutely.
And the bras. I mean, last year, I just don't think you can beat top last year. But let's talk a little bit about some of the characters. Dakota Allen's a cool character, Shenko.
The Texas Tech transfer.
He's smart. He was doing well in math. Then you had, you know, Cam, who's a big character on the show this year.
Penn State transfer.
Penn State. How about Isaiah Wright?
Isaiah Wright.
That is the most fascinating story, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, because he's a guy who has tons of talent, you know, on the court and on the field, and he has blazing speed. You can see he's got a lot of passion for football, and you could see in one of the episodes in season 2 where he got a concussion, and you know, it was one of those things where
because you don't really see that side of the game.
Yeah, you don't see that side of the game too much, and you know, you could see his competitive spirit. He just wanted to go back on the field and compete. And in telling these guys they can't compete, it's their livelihood on the line. And, you know, and it's just like a stab to the heart to these guys. And, you know, I have to give a lot of credit to these guys. But, you know, it's one of those things where you see it and you have to appreciate the passion that these kids have. It's really special.
Shenko? Did you see episode 5, a cameo from our guy Uncle Lou, the Georgia guy? About Chauncey Rivers. They showed an excerpt from him from a video.
I didn't get that far yet.
Wait, did you watch episode 5 or you're going to watch episode 5?
Episode 5?
Yes.
Where they beat the number 4 team?
No, he's the guy with the crazy. He's the guy with the crazy Georgia. You know, it's a YouTube clip about Chauncey Rivers.
Oh yeah, I just watched it tonight. Yes.
Uncle Lou was on it.
That was Uncle Lou.
Yeah. Guy we interviewed right here on our show.
Look at that. I know he looked familiar.
Yeah.
There you go.
How cool. And Last Chance you contacted him to be on the show.
That's really cool.
How cool is that, man?
It's a small world.
One day we'll be
Check out our
Scuba, Mississippi.
Check out our Shenk and Spence archives. You will see him. And he's on episode 5 in season 2.
And you will like it, guys. In 2 weeks until NFL preseason, we might be headed up to the Meadowlands for some football. We cannot wait. So.
You mean we will?
Yes, we will. Shenk and Spence.
On that note,
we out.
Woo! Have a good night, guys. Peace.